Hey guys, all right, so here's the question. You want to start a business, that is great. But the question is, do you do it online or do you get an old-fashioned retail location, brick and mortar type of store where you kind of rely on foot traffic to come into your location and a lot of other expenses? Now, if you can operate a business from your home, of course, that is a bread that's just like icing on the cake. It's not bread and butter, it's icing on the cake. Never mind. Icing on the cake. The reason being, and I'm going to go over it in this handy dandy board behind me, I'm going to explain to you how you can save a fortune by operating a business from your home. So let me get right into it. Again, if you don't know much about me, check out my videos. I started a very small candy company with my wife. We did it out of our home, and we grew that business into a very large and successful business, which has a lot of room still to grow. But we've shipped our products to 15 countries all over the world. So we've had a lot of great success with candies, cookies, you name it, cake balls and pretzels and chocolates this. And we do corporate events, we do weddings, we do large events. We also do just individual items that we sell directly to our customers. We have stores through Amazon, Etsy, eBay, and so on and so on. So get back to why I'm making this video. Is I don't want to take up much of your time, and I actually don't have a lot of time to do the video. So the pros and cons, there it is, the pros and the cons of having a business out of your home. Some of the expenses that you may not think about. If you are contemplating opening up a retail store and you think it's going to be just amazing to have your own business, and let's go and have a local store down the street, there's some things you need to be aware of. Number one great thing about having a business, because I can only speak from experience, by the way, I don't know if I told you, but I do have experience in operating my own bakery. I had an Italian bakery for a few years. We made gelato, we did paninis, breads, sandwiches, cookies, pastries, the whole gamut. But there were some challenges, and it was a good lesson because it taught me a lot about having a business like that, as opposed to the type of business that I have now. So let me make sure the camera is straight. Okay. So, you want to open up a retail location. Pros and the cons. Pros, it's going to be a great opportunity for you to have experience opening something like that if you've never experienced it. I always look to everything that I do in business is always an experience. It's never a failure. My mindset has always been, and it's taken some time to get this way, but my mindset is that I've never failed at anything I've ever done. I maintain a mentality that is, I will learn what did not work and I just move on from there and I learn it as a lesson. Because when you begin to talk about failures and stuff and you have that mentality, it creates a negative mindset, and that's something that you do not want to have, nor do I have now about my business or things that I approach in life. Don't ever look at it that way. Look at everything as a constant learning process. Because when you break it down and you honestly are honest with yourself, everything we do every day, you're not always going to have the right answer. You're just going to have to learn. And if you ask enough answers and if you take enough chances, those will pay off. And if it doesn't pay off in a way that's monetarily successful or something, it's going to teach you something. And if you can learn from those types of experiences, you're going to be a better entrepreneur. You're going to be a better person. You're going to be a better businessman. Everything that you are looking to be better at, always look at every single opportunity as a way to learn. So, you want to open a store. One of the cons about having a store is, believe it or not, the expense of garbage pickup. And I know this may sound odd, but this is something you haven't thought about. When I had my retail bakery, we had a garbage expense. Some of those garbage expenses a month for a commercial pickup of garbage can be anywhere from $100, and in some parts of the country it could be up to $500 or $100 for a commercial garbage pickup monthly. If you haven't thought about that, that's one of the cons. If you're operating a business from your home, for instance, and you are in an area where you can do such a thing, your garbage pickup could be $30, $40 every 2 months or 3 months. It could be $50 for every 2 or 3 months. But that much money adds up, and if you are just starting out and cash flow is tight and your business is new to the area, you're not going to have 1 million people walking through your front door, just to give you a heads up. So remember, this right here alone, your garbage, is going to cost you some money. Okay, so now you got to have also another phone line. You're going to have a business line, and there's a pretty good chance that you're going to have a business line which can run anywhere from 100 to maybe 150, 160. Now this is a separate line. If you were at your home and you needed an additional line for a business, you can sometimes put them in for about $9 to $10 a month, just as an additional phone number, which is separate from your home number. So keep that expense in mind. So now you're going to do about 100 to 120 for your phone. Now, in a lot of places where you have a retail storefront, you will have to pay a maintenance fee every month, similar to a homeowners association. That has to go to the landlord. Whoever owns the retail shopping plaza that you're in, you're going to have to pay a maintenance fee. I've seen some of those fees be between $200 to $350 or more a month. So now you've got a $200 to a $350 maintenance fee. Another maintenance fee. That's another fee that you're going to have to add on to your expenses. Now you've got also a retail location where customers are going to walk in your store. Guess what? You're going to want to have some insurance, and actually by law you have to have insurance. So you're going to have a specialty insurance that's going to be dictated on the size, the type of business, where it's located, and numerous other factors that come into play. And that can be, I know that ours was, I believe it was about $300 to $400 a month, $300 to $400, somewhere around there, and can go into the thousands. And again, this is insurance that you have to have, because if little Johnny comes in your ice cream store and he spills ice cream on the floor and he slips, guess who's responsible? That would be you. So you've got, let's just ballpark it and average it at $300 a month. Okay, so now you've got your insurance. Okay, so now remember, keep in mind that you're a brand new retail store, right? You're not going to have a million people walking through your store the first couple of weeks, maybe not even the first couple of months. The first year or two, you'd be lucky if you actually stay in business. That's the reality of having a retail business as opposed to the type of business model that I operate now, being online. So now you've got your insurance, okay? Now, if you want to hire employees, guess what? You're going to need to also have insurance for your employees. And that, again, is going to be a lot of factors that's going to come into play with that. The variation on that is really huge. So I'm just going to give you a ballpark on a low end of how much that'll cost you a month. So let's say it's $500 to $1,000 a month. And that's going to be insurance for those lovely helpers that you have called employees. Okay? So you can kind of see where you're going with this, right? You can see that the garbage pickup is going to cost you money, the phone. Then you got to have your water. Let's have our monthly water. You got to have another water bill. And I say another water bill because if you operate, again, from your home and you're operating something that's within the areas that you can do it, you only have one water bill. And that's going to be the one coming to your home, okay? Just because you're using the water there, you don't have to have a separate water line. So I'm going to actually stop right there because my video is at about 8 minutes and I don't like to run really, really long videos. I'm just going to give you, this is just a few items that you need to keep in mind if you have an idea to open up a retail location selling food. On top of the insurance that you have in case little Johnny slips on the floor, you're going to also have to have product insurance. That's a whole nother ball game. Product insurance, the type of insurance that's going to cover your food, because in case little Johnny is allergic to peanuts and you make something and he gets an allergic reaction and has some type of reaction to food, or if something goes rancid or someone gets sick, that's a separate type of insurance as well. So right then and there, you've already got between $100 to $500 for garbage, okay? $100 to $220 for another phone bill. You got $200 to $350 for your maintenance of what you're gonna have to pay your landlord to maintain the property around the retail location. Insurance, and then you've got employee insurance, and you have water. This right here alone is gonna get close to a couple grand to about $3,000 a month just with that. And I could sit here and give you another 20 minutes. Looking at my clock, I could go on and on. So here's why I tell you what I'm telling you here. If you can, within the area that you live, if you can operate a business from your home and you have the capacity to do it, take advantage of it. Look at all of these factors. Keep in mind that when you're in a separate location, by the way, not only do you have that, but you also have to have advertising. You have to have a handful of commercial equipment. Then you got to have insurance for the commercial equipment, and then you've got a slew of other things. But also keep in mind the marketing, okay? Because when you have a brick and mortar store, you are expecting foot traffic. That's the one key thing that a lot of people don't realize. I had some friends. It was an older couple who we had befriended, my wife and I, when we had our retail bakery, and they were in their retirement and they wanted to open an ice cream shop. They actually came to us in regards to they wanted to do business with us about something. So they came in and they were telling us they were so excited. They're going to be dumping like $250,000 in a franchise. The franchise closed down in, I think it was 3 months. They opened at the wrong, this is just my opinion. The time they opened of the year was the wrong time of the year to open. They knew nothing about the yogurt business. They were just excited to be entrepreneurs. The excitement of being an entrepreneur and having a business, it should only last about 10 minutes. And what I mean by that is that get excited about having a business. That's great. But the realities of having a business, starting it, running it, where you're going to put it, how are you going to market it, all of these factors are real world things that questions that you need to get answers to. And if you don't have them and you're just so excited about having a business, you're going to get yourself into a situation that's not going to be successful. Let me just put it to you that way. So anyways, they closed down, and I think it was 3 months. I don't know personally exactly how much money they lost on that, and I'm not really concerned about that. But the lesson from it is that being excited is great. It's an emotion. Excitement is an emotion. But when you make decisions in business, they need to be made with your head and not with your emotions. Because when you start to make decisions that way, you can either get yourself into a serious situation financially, you could be unsuccessful at what you're going to open, or you're just not calculating enough to figure out what is the best starting point for your business. I am definitely a believer in wherever you are at this point in your time in your life, starting something where you are. At least get the ball rolling, but do it with a little bit of an education behind you, in a sense that find out more about your industry if you're not familiar. I've been around food for over 22 years before I started the business that I was in. So food was something I like. Food was something I knew about, and then I made the jump into doing it, and it was a great experience. Then I transitioned into what I'm doing now. But don't allow yourself to get so excited and so hyped up that when you start signing on documents and contracts and you start getting rid of $200,000 to $300,000 of your money, or you're taking out loans, it's a whole different ballgame. Because at the end of the day, the bank doesn't care what emotion you had when you were jumping up and down because you were an entrepreneur and now you're running your own situation. They don't care about that. They just want their money. And you got to factor in all of these expenses and then some, because I'm not going to I could sit here for 2 hours and talk to you about the list of expenses when you operate a retail location. Those are things that you need to factor in, you need to be aware of. Don't let it hold you back from doing it, and don't get scared about the idea of doing something like that and going into an endeavor like that. Just use your head and just be smart about it and understand maybe where you are as far as your locale, your location, what time of the year you're opening up. Is there a lot of competition for what you do? Is there a need for what you do? These are the things that you can check out. You can go to your local small business administration and get a feel for it. Find out if there's other businesses in the area. Hey, but you know what? There's not an ice cream location. That would be a great thing. When should I open it? In the middle of winter? Not a good idea. Okay. Where should I open it? It's in a very slow traffic location. Not a good idea. All of these things need to come together. Be patient with the process, because it's all about the process. If you want to become successful at anything, it's not the goal at the end of the rainbow. It's the process to get from the end of the rainbow to the other end of it, to find out exactly what's there. And that process is either the make or break when it comes to having a business. So I hope that helps you. Do keep that in mind. If you're on the fence about having a business online, or if you want to open a retail location, please think about what you can do with the type of business that you have, and if it can be applied to having it online. So thank you guys. Give me a thumbs up if you like my videos. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. I do prefer the ones that are obviously up. And keep in mind my other channel too. I've been plugging it the last few videos that I have, and we're working on it to get it up and running. It's going to be $12.99 a month, and it's going to have an enormous amount of resources. The videos aren't going to be 10, 15 minutes. They're going to be about an hour long. And they're going to go into in-depth conversation or questioning about starting the type of business that we're in. Also, Please, if you've got anybody that you know who would appreciate my videos, please send them to them or share the videos with them, and I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.